Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video. What I wanted to talk a little bit about today has to do with our shifting of realities and what I've been experiencing over the last week or two to show you that it's starting to happen, at least within the spiritual realm, which means it's going to be taking place in what we call our physical conscious realm. And it also relates to some of the things I've talked about before, relating to our ability to consciously shift shift our awareness to other realities to be able to experience what it is we would choose to experience in what I referred to in the other videos as my 5DA reality. It's where I'll be going, and I know there'll be others going as well. So what was happening is a couple weeks ago is I made the decision before I went to bed that I wanted to shift to a reality in which Irena and I were both young and healthy again. And I wanted to switch to a reality in which I call my 5DA. And for those of you that haven't watched, I'd suggest you watch the video I've made on 5DA, kind of what it is and shifting to it. But for a quick version, it's a reality in which we will be physical, as we are now, so to speak, but we'll have no limitations on what we can do, where we can go, what we can be within those. In other words, you could recreate any part of Earth that you chose to, any other planet, any other system, and you could change it around, make it the way you want it to. One of the examples I gave in the book, which I talk about that quite a bit, is if you wanted to, say, hike the Pacific Crest Trail, you could kind of freeze time, so to speak, to where, say, the sun is at 10 o'clock, where it would be, say, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you could hike the entire 2,800 miles, whatever it is, in one day. Because you're essentially freezing time. Everything else will move around, but time in itself will stay. In other words, it's not like the scenes around you going to freeze, but time will essentially stop, but everything else will continue to take place. You can do your hiking, you can explore things, do different things. If you wanted to make night, you would allow time to pass. Night would come, and then instead of having to carry gear, you could simply manifest the gear that you wanted, set up your camp, and again, you could explore side trails and everything. You could kind of create whatever type of reality you wanted, wherever you wanted to, visit wherever you wanted to go, and you'd have the ability to do things hand-on physically, or you could do things simply by manifesting. Your choice. But that's the 5DA concept of where I feel that where we're going, why we came to such a intense physical reality here. So anyway, the bonus, when I went to bed, I decided I wanted to experience those, and during the night, I suddenly found myself in the reality with Irene and I where we were both young and healthy, and I was fully aware of being within a different reality than this 3D reality, what we were doing and what was going on. And in essence, we were there. And we did a few things to kind of enjoy and explore that a little bit. And then after that one ended, I found myself in my 5DA reality. And again, I had full awareness that I was there and where I had come from and what I was able to do. And what I was doing at that point was showing Irena things that she could do. Example would be I like Tuolumne Meadows up at the top of Yosemite. So we were up, so suddenly we were there, and I was showing her the log type home that I was going to manifest and build myself, actually. And I told her, let's see, I could make the valley covered with snow, and suddenly the valley was covered with snow. I said I could just make it snow instead, and suddenly it was snowing. I said we could transfer to, if we wanted to, live on the beach, say over in Santa Cruz where I used to live. And next thing we were standing there on the cliff overlooking the beach in Santa Cruz. And then I said we can go to New Mexico, and where we had a nice little ranch out in the combination high desert and mountains area. And again, you can create those things any way that you choose to. I was telling her that you could go to where her family was from in Almonte. I said, and you could have your parents or you and your family be any age that you wanted to be. You could also be the best versions of themselves, so that you could re-experience any part of your life or any of the lives that you've ever had. You could re-experience those as you chose to experience them. You could let them play out if you wanted to as well, but you could re-experience them. Maybe fix things you did before. You could actually have the better life, because everyone could be the best version of themselves, so your whole life would be different. You could experience it that way, or any place else you wanted to go. Um, and the point of that is that I've talked a lot about that in my books and some of the videos about the 5DA concept, and the idea that you need to make the decision now of where you're going to go, what you want to do when you leave this third dimensional reality. And you can only do that by understanding who and what you really are. If you don't, you will simply follow the default matrix programs. You will what we call reincarnate. You will shift back to this reality to live another miserable life where you don't have much of a memory of anything. So if you want to be able to break that cycle, go to something like a 5DA or wherever it is you want to go. Make those choices now, but you have to understand who and what you are first. The other thing that's been happening over the last week is I've had more and more of the dreams in which, again, I was fully aware of being there. Some would call them the vivid dreams, but it's more than that. I was fully aware of where I was, what was going on, and that it was a new reality for me. And that when I would wake back up in bed in between some of these dreams, my first thought would be, where am I? And the second thought would be, oh, I'm back here again. And so the idea is that these things are starting to happen now within what we would refer to as the spiritual realm, which means that it is soon going to be happening in what we would call a waking physical realm, even though that dream realm is just as real as this realm, but we spend more of our awareness and consciousness here. So we're going to be able to start shifting these realities. As I said, we're going to be able to do. We're going to start being able to choose the moments in space-time, put them in the order that we choose to. As I said, you could visit this world, any other world. You can see it at any point in what we call time. You can visit any dimensions, any different reality, any timelines, and experience them as they were as an observer, or you could participate and change things around if you wanted to. But the idea is you could do things hand-on. One of the things I talk a lot about in the book is I like woodworking, and I could build my projects in my shop by hand with hand tools and with power tools, or I could simply manifest the item if I wanted to, which yet to me doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm more of a hands-on person. But if that's what you wanted to do, you could. I could have any expert in any woodworking skills come in and teach me, or I could have the knowledge from the Akashic records and know everything about woodworking and all the tools that information there is and simply be able to do those things. But again, that's 5DA. So the point is that we are, at least I'm starting to be able to experience those because I'm choosing to. In my awaking state and then experiencing them in the sleeping state, meaning it's going to be happening soon, and we're going to be able to start choosing our realities within our waking state and start living and experience them. So make your choices now, where you want to go, but understand who and what you are first. Otherwise, you're going to recycle, and I don't think very many of you want to do that. So the changes I've talked about before are coming. So get ready and enjoy them. Thank you.